Okay, so our plan is once we get, once you, Nina, let us know that we have enough people in. This video is not too long. It's only about 3.5 minutes, and that'll give a really nice walkthrough of the interior. And then we've got stills we can go through and we can talk about the build and answer questions. Sound good?
Sounds great.
We're used to being really interactive and not giving a hardcore presentation. We're more flowy. So people are invited to interrupt us whenever.
Perfect. Wonderful. Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Okay, then we'll go ahead and we'll do the little video of the outside and the inside, and then we'll start chatting about it.
Sounds great.
So I'm going to turn that off and go like that. Okay, so there's the exterior where you got a little glance of the ramp and the pin foundations. And then we will go to this video.
I was thinking maybe maybe we just kind of explain things as we're going through. We just kind of pause. Talk
Building Guild.
forward pause.
They had a series on about green building and green efficient, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm not sure what's happening.
And small and of course.
Nina, are you running that? Is there a video?
I think so. Does somebody have a question?
Ooh, do you really want the hero?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on. I don't want to talk over anyone, but can you guys hear us okay?
I turned the session was off and I heard this woman's voice and I was like leaning towards my computer.
Am I freaking you out? Okay, well, we're going to start the video right here. When you walk into the unit, you can see this walk-off grate, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. We'll just let you kind of walk through. The client put a key lock in, I think, for Airbnb.
Sorry, Brett, I had to step away for a second.
No worries. No worries. So I don't know if you could see, we had talked about it last time about that little walk-off area right outside. And then you can see right underneath that door level is where they put their shoes when they come in so that they keep the air quality. You can let me know if you want to stop it.
Yeah, let's talk about the kitchen.
Okay, you get to talk about the kitchen this time.
Okay. So this design here is ADA. We have a cooktop that's down. Basically, the countertops are down at a 34-inch height for accessibility. And you can see the little white controls here in front of the range or the cooktop. And this controls your hood fan up above. So if you're in a wheelchair, you don't have to get up there. And then to the left, we have our oven unit, which is easily accessible. And then we have our sink, which the doors can be pulled off of. And that tile runs straight through. There's no bottom to that cabinet. So that is also wheelchair accessible. And all of the appliances are rated, are ADA and Energy Star rated for this project. And the cabinetry in here that you see, this is all Naughty Alder. Locally sourced. We use a water-based finish on that. Yeah, we'll keep going with the video.
Oh, is that cute? That's my cue to talk again. We mentioned this before. This table over here is also at an ADA height and can be, it has a reclaimed walnut top, which is absolutely gorgeous. And then we spec'd out some legs to match the cabinetry to put that together so it seemed more seamless with the kitchen, but also removable. And then we're going into the main area, and you can already see that mini split across the way that is used for air conditioning, heating, and dehumidification. Then you see the Murphy bed to the left, which they have pulled down, and all their storage is built-ins there. The media area has a ghost power switch so that all the electronics can be turned off and not eat away electricity when you're not using it. It's super cozy in there, by the way.
And one thing to note too is on the, for all the millwork, we decided to go with a mixed grain fir. Typically when our clients in the past, they go for the fir millwork, they want the vertical grain, the very tight grain millwork. And of course there's a premium on that, but that's a very select wood, and we don't think it's very green to be super selective of the woods you choose. We think the natural beauty and the, what people would call blemishes, we call natural beauty. So you'll see little pin knots here and there, different mixed grain, a little bit of different variations in color, but we just think that adds to the beauty of the.
Yeah, it's gorgeous as a layer of texture.
Yeah.
It's really pretty.
Keep going. Welcome to the bathroom.
Yeah. So I don't remember. Do you remember the exact square footage of the bathroom? Because I don't remember offhand. The whole unit's about 513 square feet of interior space. An ADA bathroom, like true ADA bathroom, takes up a chunk of it. And you can see you've got the roll under sink over there to our left, and the roll in shower, which is generous, and some glammy handbars.
And it's also got a little flip down bench too.
Teak,
which is handy. And this is all what, porcelain through body?
Yeah, it's the tiles all through body porcelain, which is very easy maintenance and very cost effective.
One thing to note, we didn't note last time, we've been doing this a lot lately, is specking tile base in the bathroom. A lot of times you get water splashing around and whatnot. And if you have wood millwork for base, or, a pre-primed MDF, a lot of times that stuff swells up or, gets moldy. And this is just a lot easier to clean, and it just lasts forever.
Especially in a seamless shower situation.
You talked about the mini split?
I mentioned it already.
Okay.
Let's see if anyone has questions. Ceiling fans, really good to move the air around the space, especially since it's healthy air we have in there. Oh, stop right there. So now I didn't point this out on the last group. You can see the ERV. You want to point out where that's that ERV
Here,
system right up there.
Let's see.
You can just let them walk through it. You got the pictures too.
Yeah.
There's our shoes and camera case and backpack that we brought in with us. And then we had mentioned before that this is there's a landlocked property in the back. Says you're coming out and you see that tarp. Eric, you want to talk about what his plan is with that?
Yeah, so this property out back here, it's all landlocked. It's accessible from the alleyway. And the homeowner of this property, he bought all that property a few years back, and he's actually doing urban farming back there. So he has plastic laid down to kill off all the knotweed and noxious weeds and whatnot. But since then, he's actually pulled some of that plastic up and started growing food. It's pretty cool. and he doesn't have any plans of developing it, which is great.
Otherwise, though, this is definitely central Tacoma urban infill with the neighbors on both sides. And we can show you that in, may I take that? In the actual photos. And let me know if anyone has questions yet. We're gonna, yeah.
We have a couple. I know one of them is going to be talking about, I know you're just about to get to the pin foundation. So we'll definitely cover that. We have another question about how did you decide between an ERV and an HRV system for this home?
Sure. Well, that's actually pretty simple in this place. The smaller the footprint, the more the ERV, spot ERV makes sense to an HRV.
Yeah, it runs more efficient.
Yeah. So we're going to start here. This is a kind of a blurry pic, but this is where the house will be, the DADU. And here is their main home. And here is their detached garage. And then in this picture, which is in winter and clearer, you can see there's the neighbor right there. There's the neighbor's garage to the right and their house right there. So it is a typical pretty tight spot in Tacoma. And now Eric's going to start to talk about if you're going to use the model too, let's probably not stop sharing so they could see it big.
Okay.
Okay, so go for it.
Okay, so let's do that.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so see if you can.
Oh,
Can you see us in bigger right now? Okay.
Are we full screen to all of you?
You can.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
you're bigger.
basically,
Okay.
okay. So this guy here, this is a stanchion. This is part of the pin foundation system. And it basically comes to us in pieces. There's no excavation except for a little bit of shoveling to get these things embedded into the ground, just a little bit, maybe 2 to 3 inches at each point load that is specified by the engineer on the drawings. And then these pins get driven in at angles into the ground. On each side, you got 4 pins. And then there's a little plate right inside of here in this little opening that gets tightened down, and it pushes on top of these pins, which locks them into place and keeps them from moving. And then they basically add their posts to that. And on top of your posts sit your beams. And that is basically your foundation system for your structure.
Okay, we're going to go back to showing that off now.
That's a very tiny foundation.
It is.
So yeah, it's really nice. No excavation. These things they go together really fast. I think we had, if I remember right, we had all the pins and the stanchions driven in one day, and all the beams put up the next day. So it's really quick, and there's less inspections too. So you don't have to have a footing inspection, then a stem wall, inspection, and or slab inspection. So it cuts down a lot on the inspection time. So this shows all the stanchions with the pins driven in and ready for post and beam. And this here shows you the beams. And we use all FSC certified lumber on this project. There's a bit of a premium on it, but oh man, it was
Great.
It was the nicest material to frame with I think I've ever used. I mean, there wasn't a bowed board anywhere. Everything was perfectly straight. It was so nice.
Awesome.
Eric, we have a quick question regarding the square footage of this property.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
property, yeah.
I had it. Hang on a second. So we built it a couple of years ago, so some of my numbers are out of my head. I believe it was 5.
I think it was about 6,000.
The property itself was about 6,000 because it was a single lot. And then I don't know the properties behind it. They're all landlocked behind there. So the lot itself, I think, was 6,000, right?
About 6,000 square feet. Yeah.
Real quick, we have a quick question regarding that pin
Yeah.
system you just covered. Has it been earthquake tested? How does it hold up?
It's been seismic tested through the manufacturer. I don't know to the details of how that goes, but it's been approved as an alternative foundation method versus concrete.
Well, Rick, who he owns Penn Foundations. He's also a good friend of mine. He's been doing this for over 30 years. While we haven't been doing it on a regular basis, it doesn't mean that it's not, tried and tested true. You're probably not aware it's used in some applications that you might not know about. Over here in Gig Harbor, they have Cushman Trail, and they used it in a lot of the wetland areas to get through the trail system. So a lot of those bridge systems, you're probably walking on them and you don't even realize them.
Yeah. So a little bit.
Yeah.
And a little bit of info about this property. It's a very high water table here. About 70 years ago, there used to be a creek that ran through this property. And then they ended up filling it in. Well, that water still flows underground. In the existing house that the homeowner lives in, they have a couple sump pumps in their crawl space to mitigate the water that they have there. And we didn't want to deal with that here. We're like, this is a perfect chance for us to show off the pin system. And it was nice, didn't have to excavate, threw it right in, and it allows the water to just continue its path underground without disturbing it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And the other thing we did basically, is we ended up skirting around the perimeter and putting in a vapor barrier on the ground, and it just naturally killed off all the grass underneath. And then we insulated from underneath. We have crawl access for that. So it worked out really well.
Great. And can you remind us of the name of the pin manufacturer real quick? Sorry.
Sure. It's Pin Foundations, Inc. Also, they also have Diamond Pier Foundations. Diamond Pier is the one part that we used on the deck. And then this is, they've developed a couple of new systems. And this is one of them around the frame. I think it's called Frame Foundation. Actually, I have the paper right.
Yeah, they've got some new ones now where they do for slab on grade as well. If you want to build slab on grade, they'll do a beam system.
Can you see that?
Or a perimeter beam.
I don't know if you can see that or not.
Perfect. Thank you.
Can you see it?
So you can, it says it's foundationframe.net or info@foundationframe.net.
So yeah, this is our floor framing, and then our subfloor put in, and then we start building our walls. And we use all plywood for our walls and subfloor and sheathing.
I have a quick question regarding what the cost difference versus other example slab on grade was for this foundation technique.
Yeah, well, nowadays, the pin foundations are either a wash or sometimes they're even can be less expensive. They certainly help with the inspection process too. It streamlines it.
Yeah, it's a couple less steps, a couple less inspections.
24 on center.
Yep, and then we did framing with 24 on center, advanced framing. Less material. And this photo here shows our ridge beam going in so that we can carry our vaulted ceiling. And then I got our roof framing, which was 24 on center as well, 2x12 construction. And then our sheathing and
next one,
barge boards.
I think. Yeah.
And this here is our exterior wrap. We like to use the Henry Blue Skin. It's really simple, peel and stick. Goes on really easy.
Especially with 2 people versus 1.
Yes, 2 people recommended. And then our windows, this is again the Anderson 100 series composite windows that we use. And we also use another product from Henry Blue Skin for our flashing around the windows. And then for siding, I'm sorry, did somebody have a question?
Yeah, someone has a quick question regarding how you were able to protect the bottom of the foundation from rodents, vapor, air, etc.
Yeah, so what we did is we dug down a little trench, probably about 9 inches around the perimeter, and then we put in a galvanized kind of a sheet metal that goes around, and we tack that to the skirting. And that keeps the rodents from digging down and under. It's kind of like a block down within the ground. And then we do little cutouts for little screens to put in for air movement in the crawl space as well. And this picture here, so we had to match the basically kind of the design of the original house, or take some of that design and incorporate it into this new build. And so they have hardy lap siding, and what was the other one we used? They had they had panel siding as well. So we had to incorporate both of those types of siding into this project. And you can see it here. This is the panel siding, little accent we did around the entryway with aluminum U-channeling as an accent. This is our sub framing for the stairwell, and then we also have our framing done now for the deck. And this is the only area we used concrete on. It was for the post for the ramp area. And this is all pressure treated lumber. And then this is the finished product. We used a Malarkey 50-year roof, which was their green product. And then for the decking, we used juniper, which is an invasive species in central and eastern Oregon. They're actually trying to get rid of it, so they're harvesting it, and it makes for great decking. We use 2x6 planks, and they come in 8 to 10 foot lengths. It's very dense. It weathers nice. Gets a nice silver tone to it. It's a lot harder than cedar, a lot more durable, and it smells wonderful when you're cutting into it.
It smells amazing. It smells like being in like a humidor. Like it's
It's awesome.
and it's beautiful. It's beautiful stuff. Oh, sorry. I'm out of the picture. Okay, so that's our front porch. You can see, well, not in this picture, there's a walk-off grate past that mat, which is really important for indoor air quality. So we made sure that was in there. And then the door is local. It's from Codell. So let's do this.
Very nice. We have a quick question regarding the sealer that was used.
Yeah.
What sealer was used?
I may have to look up that information and get back to you with it. It was through Timber Pro, and they're out of Oregon. And it was recommended by the Sustainable Northwest Woods, where we got the material from. It was the first time we worked with this sealer. I would highly recommend it. It went on really nicely. It absorbs really well. And it's hard to find a lifetime sealer. So you can't use, so that's for graying out. You can't use the lifetime sealer if you start adding tints to it. They have a different sealer line for that. It's still excellent though. Okay, so here you can see that walk-off mat as we go in.
Oh, the grate. Yeah.
Oh, so walk-off grate. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so in the kitchen like that, this is all designed for ADA accessibility. So it was a great question about the cabinet under the sink. These are removable. There's no toe kick. You can see the open under the range. The white plate on front is to control the hood above, so you don't have to reach across anything. It is an induction range. And then we've got the oven below. All of the appliances are both ADA and Energy Star, which sometimes can be tricky, but these worked out great. The countertops are typically a little bit lower. So instead of a 36, you're looking more at a range between a 32 to 34. Typically the finish height's around 34, and then the appliances have to be a drop shorter to fit in. And all the cabinetry is designed for that as well. In here we have paper stone countertops. Unfortunately, we're no longer working with paper stone because the company did some bad stuff, we found out after the fact. We really love their product. However, same product is sold by Richlight. So you can get that FSC really wonderful countertop that we love so much from a different company.
And let me explain a little bit about that paper stone.
Yeah, go for
Richlight.
it.
So
Go for it.
Richlight paper stone is basically it's recycled paper content,
Layered.
and that's layered together using dyes. They've got multiple colors to choose from. It was originally invented for skateboard ramps back in like the late 80s, early 90s. 1/4 inch thick, and it was easy. It was easy to bend to the contours of the framing of their ramps. And then architects saw it, got a hold of it, and thought, oh wow, we could really use this. And they started using it for exterior cladding.
Mhm.
And then from there, it multiplied, and now it's mostly widely used as countertop material and backsplash.
And still exterior cladding as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool product. Love it.
Very nice.
What else about the kitchen? You have a question?
Yeah, we have a couple questions.
Go for it.
First one, let's get to the circle cutouts under the eaves. What are those?
Those are basically for the venting for the roof structure. So that allows air to flow in, and there's baffles up there between the insulation and the sheathing, underside of the sheathing of the roof, that gives a 1-inch air gap so that air can flow through, so that you don't get mold buildup up there, from moisture. It just allows it to breathe. And then there's a little screening on those little round holes. They call it bird block to keep birds out and pests and insects and whatnot.
Gotcha. And then could you describe what the walk-off grate is in front of the door and what it's used for?
Yeah, so do you want to explain it?
No, go for it.
Okay,
You're doing
so
great.
the walk-off grate is for better indoor air quality. So when you're walking over it, you wipe your feet on it. It's kind of like what you see in some of the commercial buildings where they've got a metal grate that you walk off on. It gets all the dirt, so all the dust can just fall down below the deck basically, and not build up in like a walk-off mat per se.
Living in the Northwest, we all have like pine needles and all sorts of stuff that stick to the bottom of our shoes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of grasses out there that unfortunately people still use in pesticides and all sorts of materials. So we try to get that off. And then that's why we have that entry area with the bench too. And then they've got a nice little area where it says leave your shoes, and you stack your shoes right there. So between the walk-off mat and taking your shoes off when you get in the door, it cuts down, they say, on like 90% of debris for indoor air quality.
Very nice. I actually didn't know that. Thank you. And then I have a question actually in regards to
Yeah.
Paperstone. You mentioned, they're a company that you may not recommend anymore. You said they were kind of bad with their, was it environmental practices or just challenges? you
Yeah.
experienced?
Yeah, it turned out they were doing some illegal dumping, which is not cool.
Darn.
Which was off of the manufacturing process. They had to use some phenols and stuff like that they weren't handling well, which was really a shame. However, Richlight, I actually think Richlight was around first, and then Paperstone was a spinoff on that. Like that, he sold off some companies and some rights. And so Richlight's a great company to buy from.
Great, thank you. And then last question that just popped up. Where can you purchase or where can you source the walk-off grate? We have
That's
someone
a
that
great
would probably be interested in it.
That is
Yeah,
a great question.
That
We
was a
did,
custom one actually that we had made.
we did not
Yeah.
get that locally. So we try to spec everything as local as possible. And unfortunately, I think that was I want to say Midwest.
Yeah.
So you can go online and order them from a company.
Yeah, there's McNichols.
I don't think we got it through McNichols, so.
They do a lot of stuff like that though, like commercial, and you can order for residential. Just be prepared. It's going to cost a pretty penny, because they make them. They're made to order. They're custom, but they're worth it. I mean,
Well, our hope always is in doing these projects that the more demand, the manufacturing gets closer to
Yeah.
home. And as it becomes more of a common practice, it will become more widely available. So the great thing is the more you ask places, like if you call up your local hardware stores and ask for things, then you get their interest in looking for those products too. So it's important to make the calls and see where you can get it, and just kind of push distributors and manufacturers to come to us.
yep.
Okay, so I think I handled most of the kitchen. We have, as far as ADA and just general, lighting, we have layers of light. So it's really, really important to have incredible task lighting. So you can see the wash of light behind. Over here in the ceiling, you see this is actually a fire sprinkler system. So one of the things that we had to go through because we were too far away from the main road and a fire truck couldn't get there was we had to put a fire suppression system into this house.
Yeah, so just a note, in the city of Tacoma, you have to, if you're more than 150 feet from the road, you have to put a sprinkler system in.
Yeah, so try not to be.
Yeah.
Okay. So over here on your right, you will see this is a reclaimed wood top. It's walnut. And then we had our cabinet maker make some legs for that. We did this as a separate piece. So it could be a table. It could be moved out in the future if need be to get in some more room.
Really quick question,
Yeah.
Red, in regards to the envelope tightness. Did you all do any tests such as a blower door or anything like that to test that?
Yeah,
We did.
We
Yeah, we did a blower door test and we passed, we squeaked by, which
The reason
you explain
is
it?
because the smaller the footprint, the harder it is to pass the blower door test because it's in a big house. If there's any breaks or anything, it's hard to pull that air. As in a smaller place, you're pulling and everything's
there's
right
less
there.
volume of air to move.
Right.
So it's kind of a skewed testing system that is based off of larger square foot homes.
Yeah, that's well said, actually. It needs to be finessed a bit for a smaller footprint. At the time, I don't know, is it required now with the new energy code, the blower door test? I'm not sure if it is.
I think it is actually.
We always do it with the built green products,
Yeah.
Projects for sure. But yes, it is a more difficult test the smaller the footprint. So I'm just going to flip through this because I think there are some other photos. These are straight on shots of the kitchen. You can really see the use of task lighting. It's really functional. And you can see the doors come off. They're movable doors with the stuff underneath right now. The space feels really comfortable. There's lots of natural light, the high ceilings. They definitely made it cozy. So here's some of the storage. You can see there's hanging storage. People always ask, where's hanging storage in a small space when you don't have a framed out closet? So there's lots of ways to accomplish that. We went through the bathroom. You can see it's an ample size. They put these units in. We left a lot of that stuff out just because there's some access. Actually, right behind there, right there is to get to the fire suppression system that we put in. There's that all-in-one. There's the hybrid water heater hiding in behind here.
In the loft, I don't think we talked about that.
Oh, I don't know if we talked about the loft this time. So they do Airbnb it, and they are able to use this gate and lock people out from using it. But it looks like that up there. It's actually quite big. I live in a tiny house. This loft is like twice the size of my lofts. And so if you had some beds in here and stuff and kids, you could fit a couple beds up there actually.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
It's big. This is just a picture so you can truly see the ramp section in there.
And one thing we didn't mention was that on the inside, there's sprinklers. This home is more than 150 feet from the road, so it requires a sprinkler system because they can't get access to it from with fire trucks.
And we recommend trying not to place a home more than 150 feet away from there if you can help it, just to save costs and not have to do the fire suppression system. It was quite a trick up the sleeve to get enough pressure to run that system back there. And we had the fire marshal out a couple times helping us out to make it happen. And he was awesome, by the way, totally awesome. And then this is the family that lives in the main house. And their mom she comes out from overseas and stays in it. And then the other part of the time it's Airbnb'd. They say that they've had people pretty nonstop in there. A lot of traveling nurses actually will stay for a couple months. And I asked how everyone's doing, and they love it in there. So, and these pictures were, we just went back and took them recently. So you can see these aren't pictures from when the house was just done. It's been 2 years and it still looks good, which is inspiring to us to see as well after people have been living in it. I don't know if we talked to the second group about the residential infill pilot program. It was started in 2017. We were one of, how many applicants went in? There were 3 slots for Central Tacoma. We won one of the 3 coveted slots. And there were quite a bit of people who went up to get this. And it was pretty cool just because it allowed DADUs and ADUs before they were permitted and in zoning. And right now, thankfully, they are. So we're super excited about that. Built Green, we highly recommend Built Green. We think it's a pretty low cost for what you get. And our certifier was amazing. I do want to give a shout out to them. Evergreen Certified is the company we use for certification. Sybil was our certifier from that company. Doing this helped us in many ways. One of the ways I hadn't mentioned before is they do the energy modeling for you. So you can give them all of your appliances you've picked out, all of your insulation values of your walls and your windows and everything. And they put it together and see where you compare to the values of what's required, which has now changed, as you know. So 2018 energy code is a lot heavier than it was when we went through this, which is a great thing. And so that's part of it. The other part of it is it gives you kind of a menu to go through and a list to check yourself and see, do I want to do this? What do I want to accomplish with this project? And it also helped us while we were on the job in controlling the environment and making sure it was really healthy while we were working, as far as people not smoking and not idling, and treating waste as we hope they would, with sorting it and recycling it. Plus, as Eric likes to hone in on a lot, it gives value to the homeowner because you're not greenwashing a project. It's certified. You can list it on the Northwest MLS system. And you can also speak about it when you're renting it out.
And it definitely adds a premium to whether you're renting it or you go to sell it. You're definitely going to get a premium over a non-built green home.
Very good point. So this was the list. You might have tuned in around the time that we have this list. It kind of just talks about the building footprint, and I won't read it to you. I'll give you a minute to do that. And if you have any questions, let me know.
We have, it just looks like one question that popped up, Brett, as folks are reading this. They asked, what are your thoughts on using recycled plastic, or also known as Trex style decking?
We haven't used it. I can't speak to what I don't know. One of the reasons I stayed away from it was it gets super hot. It's not great for pets to lay on. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a pet lover. It is a composite, so I'll give you that composites do have some redeeming qualities. However, when you can use a strong wood like the juniper wood and you're helping with invasive species, and it's a long-lasting, great product, I guess you just make a choice, right? And we love the juniper, so that's the way we go.
Really nice. Could you provide the folks here a total, just approximate cost of this project?
Sure. Well, like we said, this is pre-COVID, so I don't know what it would cost right now. In 2018, when we costed out the project, it was about $2.25. So that's $225. I'm gonna take a drink of water.
We have one in the chat in regards to public assistance. They're asking, was there any public assistance, excuse me, example code concessions or funding for the ADA features in particular?
There was no, this was a privately funded project.
Yeah.
Are there funds out there for that? Because that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, no kidding.
And Pat Park was asking, you know, is this available, Brett, on your website, this PDF of the Central Tacoma Built Green
You
DADU?
know, that's a great question, Pat. And over COVID, we decided we were going to revamp our website. And so we had really great goals, and we came up with this good splash page kind of talking about our company and what we're about and helping people. And then there was all these other pages that were going to be developed, and we're going to have to get back and get around to that. So what I'd like to do, one of my goals, is to post the video on these pages. If you happen to want them, just email me, brett@brettmarlowe.com, and I'm happy to share. I don't want you to wait on me getting around to finishing my website.
Great. And then we have another question. What is the range of scoring and where did this home fall? And I'm assuming for
The range of scoring for Built Clean?
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know if we want to go back. Let me go back. So this is, if you can see, there's 7 sections up here. I didn't put this whole paper up. It's comprehensive. So this is the very end of a big pile of papers that you go through, and you get points for every item that you do. And sometimes you get counted off if you do some stuff too. So as we were very pleased, we were aiming for 4 or 5 stars, and we achieved 5 stars, which was very excellent. And I would say 5 stars isn't easy to do. I would say 3 stars in most projects is totally achievable. And I would highly recommend going for it, and don't be afraid of it, because 3 stars is achievable. It ramps up pretty heavy as you get 4 to 5. So I'm pretty sure if we didn't go FSC wood with this project, we probably wouldn't have hit the 5-star mark. Yeah. So I'm going to go, this is that second page of the first page you were reading. Something we didn't mention. Did we mention that we go all electric on all of our homes is what we recommend. And some people like gas for redundancy on some things, but primary, I would say all electric, and then pre-wire, put conduit in for solar so that you can just hook up an inverter and your panels later on very easily. And then if you guys are through with that, let's see what else we got for you. Oh, that was it. Right. Okay. Well, are there more questions?
We have another one that just popped up, and also folks, feel free to unmute yourselves and chat with Brett and Eric today.
Yes, please.
Yeah, there's a question that came from Holly. Are there similar builders you could recommend in the Salem, Oregon area?
Oh, you know what? I would go through, actually, you guys, the Northwest Eco Building Guild, and I would think you could find many builders in Thurston County that have the same ethics and same desire to build in the way we build. Yeah, I mean, that area is hopping. There's more builders there than here that build that way.
Yeah, I would say, Holly, feel free to connect with one of the eco builders later, or you can visit our website. We have a list of regional builders, designers, architects, and a lot ranging from Oregon as well. And I might be able to get you in contact with someone. I'll share with you my email address too. We'll see if we can find someone for you for the project you have in mind.
For sure. The other thing to keep in mind is if you're not looking for design build, A good bulk of our project is it's actually design, and then another contractor builds it somewhere else. We're small and we can't build everything. So a lot of the stuff we'll build in, design. And now with COVID, there are some good things that came from it. We have adapted to life of Zooming and a lot of virtual design meetings. And so your design team can be anywhere, whether it's us or someone else. You don't have to have them right next to you to have a really successful design process.
Great, thank you. That's for all the questions posted in the chat. But like we said, feel free to unmute yourselves. Yeah.
I'll go ahead and play this video, so if people are just coming in or out, they can still walk through the place. We're so used to being on site when we do these tours.
Yeah.
And you know, it's hard to.
This is very different.
It's very different. Although I will say, since we were just there, we went through this, I think the video is very effective of really feeling like you're in the space.
Y'all did a great job with the video. Thank you for being so flexible with our current COVID day and age.
Well, we're lucky because our clients are still flexible too. They're awesome. Yeah. So they're the ones who let us. I mean, we had to wait for the last renter to come out, and they were there for a couple months. So we just got in there like 3 days ago, and I was like, this is down to the wire.
Okay. We have a question from Holly again. Is there a place they could find juniper in the Olympia area, Thurston County area?
Yeah.
What is
call up Sustainable Northwest Hardwoods, and they are in Oregon, so they're closer to you than they are to us over here. And they'll let you know. We bought directly from them. They'll let you know where you can see it or talk to you about it.
I think they also sell through Green Planet Solutions down there.
And I think it looks as good as it did the day we left it.
It's definitely held up well. I mean, with as many people that have been in it, I mean, how many times it's been cleaned. I mean, that usually when you clean stuff, there's a lot of wear and tear just from cleaning it itself, and it's held up really well.
Yeah, I mean, they said people are pretty much in it full time.
The lighting fixtures are also quite lovely. Did you use a local company for those as well?
The lights, depends which ones you're talking about. The ones that the pendants over the table, they're actually West Elm.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. West Elm has some
sustainability
measures. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I noticed the one in the doorway too is quite nice as well.
Oh my gosh, that one's fun. I don't remember where we got that right now though. I love that fixture though. I like when the light kind of shoots out and does some cool shapes. It's really pretty. Lighting's always challenging in vaulted areas too, you know. We use the LED lights that don't, they no longer have cans, right? We still think to call them recessed, but they're technically not recessed, they're flush mount. And that way they're not breaking any of that insulation.
Very good presentation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
I hope this inspires people.